Hey, this is Aurora Folks from SoGutsy, and today things are just heating up as we sit down with the Bronx duo all year summer. Check it after the beat.
Just like lemonades of memory, I estimate the second grade when everything was heavenly. A treasure, pleasure, never left the stress of meditation. The world's black and white, I bought a gray pen to keep me out the state pen.
The pen is heavenly, I put the bars in the state penitentiary. It's elementary, you better mention me. It's all year summer for the next century.
Hello there, my name is Chris Toro.
And I'm Miguel Gallardo.
We are all year summer, AYS.
Hi guys, so summer's definitely my favorite season. It's very fun, very carefree, very relaxing, and it's a lot like your music actually. So what was the connection behind the season and your name, All Year Summer?
I don't know, we met in high school in 2006, but then we started making music around 2010. Mm-hmm. 2010 happened to be the greatest summer of all time. I'll tell you why. My mom decided to leave the U.S. to go to DR. My whole family left to different areas of the world for about a month, and we partied and went crazy for a month. Like, we had a lot of fun, responsible fun. But it was fun. So, when that all came to a halt, it was something where we were like, damn, imagine this all the time. But besides even that, we've always had really fun summers, just always going somewhere, always just, kicking back, never really staying home at all. So, like, that feeling of just always kind of like going out there, having adventures, getting into trouble, just doing stuff, young people do. And we wanted to have that, like, reflect in our music. So we're very fun, carefree, laid-back people, but, that's the connection with summer.
That's where it started, definitely. That was, 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Until now, so, like, it's kind of grown with us, the name, and now it's, like, it's a little bit more, I guess, intimate, in a sense where it's like more about following like your passions and stuff like that, rather than just like fun. We do have fun, granted, but like from my definition of fun is just doing what I want to do. So and that gets harder as you get older.
Yeah, it's gotten deeper from the whole party thing. It started there, and then as the years went on, it got to a deeper sense. Where it's like, just the all in the name, like always going for what you want, always having that fire inside of you, like always looking forward to something, Like as kids, we were in school looking forward to summer, like just always keeping that like mentality, like we'll get through this hard work, but this is what we're going after,
While we're actually on the topic of summer, it seems like you two had a really, really busy one last year. So I know that you were on the Cake and Kisses summer tour in Brooklyn, and you were with a ton of other indie artists. Can you describe what that experience was like?
It's like we've had shows where we performed in front of like a whole ton of people, and then like in front of 3 people. So like, because everybody like goes through it and pay their dues, and then and it's definitely been like a growing process of like, damn, because at first like we've done, like I said, shows where there's like a whole bunch of people there, it's fun, the energy is crazy, and then like when there's barely people there, maybe just like a couple of our friends, and then like that kind of takes shots at like your pride a little bit sometimes, but once you go through those moments, it's like, all right, at the end of the day, there's one person out there that hasn't heard us perform, and you never know who that person is or who they're going to share it to, or maybe made their day, they enjoyed it, we said something that they like.
Who would just be your dream artist to perform with?
Asher Roth or J. Cole. Like, our taste in music is like so all over the place.
Yeah.
Like his iPod is random as hell. Like you have film scores and just it jumps around. But I love rock too. I listened to a lot of like Spanish music growing up as well. So like my iTunes ranges from like Maroon 5 to Arctic Monkeys, Franz Ferdinand, then like Mark Anthony, and all over the place. And I think that all like plays a role into like the music we like and we like to make.
Yeah, Kanye West, I like him a lot, mostly because of how confident he is. Like, you can't tell him he's not the best, and like I've been really taking on to that. So definitely him. He said Asher Roth, Mac Miller. Yeah. I've recently become a huge fan of the Flatbush Zombies. They make really gritty, cool stuff. But yeah, if we could collab with John Williams, that's a far stretch, but he makes some of my favorite music ever. If Frank Sinatra was alive, that would have been amazing.
So do you guys have any pre-show rituals that are just like a go-to, like a must that you have to do before any performance?
Wine. We always drink wine before a show, and we sign the bottle. I have a few bottles in my room. Really? Yeah, that's something we always do. I listen to like E.T. music, Star Wars music, just to like, I don't know, put me in this like crazy mode just to get me amped.
Sometimes you have little butterflies before, but I think we've performed in front of like pretty like random crowds and diverse crowds to like have us prepared for whatever. So we just kind of like stay cool before the show, and then we got on and like let loose.
It's funny because we are very calm before shows, and people be like, "Are you guys okay? Did something happen?" I'm just like, "Oh man, this is the calm before the storm." Like I'll be really quiet, and then once it's like all out the window.
So, how does the feeling of performing in a smaller, more intimate venue like the one you did in Brooklyn in the House of Vans compare to you performing on a larger scale with a diverse crowd?
House of Vans was one of the shows we randomly submitted to because we saw the sign, and then like it was crazy. We didn't expect that many people to like be there. Like I love having a lot of people there, especially we had a lot of friends there too. But besides that, it was like just a whole bunch of random people that were like into like the same kind of music, I guess, and energy.
A bunch of cool people.
Yeah, it was in a skate park, you know, so like people could relate to that energy. So like we kind of feed off of that. But it doesn't really matter where we perform. Like we try to keep the energy the same and connect to people. You know, look at them and give it our all. Because you know.
So I can imagine that it must be a very humbling experience to be able to play so many shows in your hometown while you're developing yourself as an artist. What really keeps you grounded?
I just really enjoy it, and like I don't think too much on it. Like, you know, when we did BB King's, like our name is in Times Square and stuff. I literally just went up to it. I was like,
marquee.
"Oh wow, that's cool." I just went back. You know what I mean? Not trying to be like, "Oh my God, we're here." You know what I mean? So like, it's humbling to see those things and like to stay grounded. Like I just think of like my family and how they always keep me very humble. Like my mom always telling me like, "Chris, you know, remember where you came from." Just like that support system keeps me very grounded. So, you know, my parents are very about, you know, being a good person, doing the right thing and stuff. So
you know, it's different when you're pushing an actual product where like you have, you know, learning the difference of like doing songs for fun and like putting them out whenever, and then like actually having to process them and copyright and do all that jazz on a real level when you're pushing like actual content and like stuff that we didn't know before. So when there's so many steps in it, it's easy to get lost in that. Like, I have to do this and this and this, still make money on the side, and do this and this, and then like kind of like lose, you know, where the fun part of it, like of writing songs and just hanging out and being dumb or whatever, because they're always caught up doing something. So it's nice to have that like reminder of like, dude, you know, this started like freestyles on Facebook, you know, for being dumb and like just doing shows and hanging out with all of our friends, and it's good to remember that. So it stays true to like where it all began.
So I've noticed the mention of the Bronx a lot in your music, especially with the 6 Train in that song you have called Yoga off of Sunset Supernova, of course. So what influences do you pull from your hometown?
Everything. Just down of just taking the train. Just like, I don't know, there's so many different characters in New York, and like I feel like being someone who creates, anyone that creates should like really take in what they're seeing, because like you never know where you can get inspiration from. Just like graffiti on the wall to like walking into a bar, someone's doing spoken word. It's like there's so much happening.
To write from a place that's like genuine and like somewhere that we're actually doing or that we lived through or whatever, like those songs come really fast, and like sometimes they come fast, sometimes it takes longer to write them, but those I feel like are our favorite ones because we're not drawing inspiration from somewhere that's not existing or like something that didn't happen to us per se. Like, I mean, it's fun and all. Like, we can create stories that necessarily we didn't live through. But definitely, like the songs that the majority of them that we have has been like inspired from something that we actually went through. And I've noticed, at least in like my songs, like I started off with something that I'm doing at the moment, like where I am, like what am I seeing, where I'm at the moment, what I'm thinking about. Like that's how a lot of my songs start. And yoga, actually, you mentioned yoga. Like the first line was written here in this room. Because I was looking around at like all the different beach scenes that I have, and I was looking at that guy, and I was like, I got my feet on the shore, walking, looking like I'm skimming, making a mixed drink, and then it just went from there. I was like bouncing around to different like posters that I had here.
Well, speaking of Sunset Supernova, I just want to say congratulations on releasing your very first EP. It's a huge, huge deal. And while we're at it, I just wanted to say that while I was listening to it, I noticed a lot of your music had a 90s classic kind of hip-hop vibe to it. And it was similar to your older mixtapes, but some of them also had a very like intergalactic kind of feel to it, like on One Hell of a Ride, and you even spoke about leaving Earth. So where does that intergalactic alien theme come from?
Well, the whole galaxy thing, yeah, I have a love for sci-fi and all that, but like we always thrive on being different. We've gone to many shows, and like whenever they call us up, it's not your average name, and people like what are these guys gonna do? And majority of the times, like, we thought you were gonna just sing or something, and then we come out rapping. So it's like always seeing that people looking at us very differently, and then we think of aliens, they're out of this world, they're from another planet. So like we really went on that idea, and then something we represent ourselves with is the sun and moon, you know? So it's like day and night. And, you know, going to the moon in that song was technically like, the name of the EP too, it's like we're setting on all the material we've done already. Like the sun is setting on the past. Like we're about to hit some like new wave of stuff. So that's where the whole idea of like going to the moon, going past, you know, where we're from, came from. Yeah. And what's funny is like a lot of if you listen to the EP, like there's a lot of beeps and like weird technical, weird computery sounds that we purposely made sure that were in each song. So like it just connected like the theme and all that. Yeah.
You heard on the first track too, like sounds like you're on a spaceship or like you're going somewhere.
That's real NASA dialogue.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, we were here and we were thinking about the idea of like the ship going and like when it breaks away, it's like, what are we gonna say there? And we YouTube NASA launches and all that is actually like dialogue that the NASA people say, except for one thing, but I don't know, it's like a gem.
The name of the ship?
Should we keep it quiet? Or?
No, I don't.
Alright, I'll say it. Okay, if you notice, in the beginning of One Hell of a Ride, it says, rocket booster separation confirmed. Kalikari 637, that's the name of the spaceship that we're on. Kalikari is summer in Greek, and 637 stands for always and forever. So Kalikari summer, always and forever.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, little Easter egg in the
That's
album.
Cool.
First 30 seconds of that whole EP is my favorite. Like just that vibration, like that did it for me. I was like, all right, everything else is gonna be cool, but that intro is like my favorite.
Chris, I also heard that you recently started work with Broadway. So what was that experience like for you?
Well, it's an off-Broadway show that is aiming to be on Broadway. This is the second time I'm doing it. It's called Dead End, written and directed by Marcus Graham. Really talented guy. I like it. I like doing that. You know, I like playing different people. It allows you to like really be an actor, not just, you know, one voice, one look, one physical appearance. But it does play into making music. Like, I have alter egos. Like, when I make beats, I go by the name of Bobby Phoenix. Bobby's my middle name. And the Phoenix bird, it, like, when it dies, it recreates itself. So through music, I do that. Yeah, and I also go by CT, who's, like, I've been really discovering it's a more, like, not darker, but, like, more grittier version of myself.
And does it help, like, watching different kinds of movies, like, getting, like, ideas for how you shoot your music videos or like, that, like, kind of artistic development?
Definitely. There's someone named Wes Anderson. Oh, God, I love Wes Anderson. And him particularly inspired Lemonade like crazy. If you notice Lemonade, there's yellow everywhere. And all of, like, Wes Anderson's movies, like, you think, I went to an art show of his, and it was, like, each wall was a different movie. And like Grand Budapest Hotel was on the left, and all was pink, purple, red. Then you see Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's like orange, brown, dark yellow. So like those color tones, and we did Lemonade. I'm like, dude, let's really run with the yellow. Even down to like the floor where we're performing. We went to Pelham Bay Park and ripped yellow leaves for like 45 minutes and put them in and just poured them out. And like many people don't really realize it, but like to us, we're like, man, look at the yellow leaves. Look at the yellow there. Look at that. So like I want to make sure that there always is a balance of like story, good music, you know, humor. I'm all about making people laugh, you know.
So I know that the both of you are very, very involved in film. I can definitely see your dedication and creativity in your music videos, especially Rock Out, which I know was actually picked up by MTV on their website, and we had a little review for it. And I can also see the creativity in the video you have for Lemonade, which you recently released. So can you tell me, do you prefer being more in front of the camera or behind the camera?
I think it's definitely a good balance. Like, I don't mind being behind it and, like, you know, formulating the story and having ideas, but I wouldn't mind being in front of it either.
More now it is in front, but like slowly but surely I do want to master behind it, so it's like, you know, something I can continue.
So I know the two of you are gearing up for your next gig. It's going to be Let's Paint and Chill in the Bronx. So what can your Bronx fan base expect from you?
Something very different, because this is the first show that we're doing kind of without music. It's like we're doing spoken word. So it's going to be interesting to see how, like, I mean, we've rapped verses and stuff in front of people, but now it's going to be in a situation where there's painting going on, but then there's going to be, like, a point where spoken word people go up. So it's something different. It's something people are going to see us, like, without getting as high music going on. It's just us kind of, like, just talking to people. So I can't wait to do that.
Okay, so I do actually want to ask you about a tweet I saw on Twitter that you wrote. and it said the energy you put into the universe is very important. Looking back some years from now, what do you want people to take away from your music, and what kind of impact do you want to leave?
The whole purpose of All Year Summer and our concept was to like have people feel good about themselves and what they care about, and not necessarily just give up their personal interests to the world. I think what we want to leave as an imprint is that, you know, that you can do that, even though, you know, there's lots of circumstances, whether it's like financial or, you know, just where you're born. You know, people don't have control. You could be born in a slum in Brazil or something somewhere. But just the fact that the energy that you do put out into the universe and what you care about can come back around, and you have the ability to change your life.
I definitely want people to look back and not like consider us rappers, more so like, you know, these guys were human, like they spoke about human things. Like I just want people to go back and like always, like they go to our music and stuff, visual, to feel good. Like it always comes back to just like whatever's going on in your life, they can play an AYS song and just feel like things aren't really that bad.
Always trying to tell me what to believe. I don't care, but I know that there must be some truth out there floating in the breeze. And it pleases my senses, refreshing. It's just like lemonade.